Hello guys, and welcome back to Big Data and Analytics course by ExpertWorks. In the previous lecture, we saw some basic getting hands-on practical with Hbase. So let's do an interesting practical activity to enhance our knowledge and try to liberate the power of both the tools, that is Hbase and Pig, to import data at scale. Let's get started. Make sure you have fired up your virtual machine already. And let's log in to PuTTY. Let's open and log in with our username. That's root and password. Now let's go into Hbase shell as we did earlier. And let's also check using Ambari that our Hbase service is running. It's always a good idea to check this out. Let's close these tabs and let's open. And let's log in to Ambari. And here we can see Hbase service is running, no alerts. That's a good thing. And all our services are also running. Let's go back to PuTTY. And it says, let's log into it once again then. Mistakenly logged out the PuTTY. Let's open Hbase shell. So by the time this opened, so congratulations, this has opened. Let's go ahead and firstly create a table for which we'll be importing the data. So let's create a sort of metadata structure for Hbase ahead of time before we transfer the data inside the table. So as we already know, we have to type create, then the name of the table, which is users, and now we specify in the column family. Column family is user info. That says successfully created. We can see that it's created. So now let's go ahead into files view and let's upload the data. Now let's go ahead and upload the ML100K movie lens data. Let's go to users. Our current user is root. Let's go to root. And here we are already having the input data. But let's go ahead and upload our ML100K data into root. Let's create a new folder. Say ML-100K. Let's add these. Now let's go into upload and let's upload the file. As we have created the Hbase table called user and the column family is user info, well, that means we are going to work around with the user data. Let's upload that file. Let's also upload, in case we require u.data and u.item file. Let's go ahead and see first of all what it's having. On taking the first look, we can identify that first column that is this one is movie ID. This data is separated by the pipe character, which we have looked around in the previous lecture as well. Moreover, we can see that this could be the age, denotes the age, this is the gender, and this is the occupation. Then this last column seems like to be a zip code of where people are residing. So based upon the kind of movie they watch and the kind of occupation they are doing with and the age group, I think we can find an interesting correlation between the movies and the kind of people who are watching the kind of movies. This could be an interesting correlation. So now let's go ahead and try to import this data into our Hbase. Let's go ahead. We have now successfully imported data to our HDFS cluster. We have also created a table onto which we'll be importing the data. And now let's go ahead and write a script on Pig, which can go ahead and import data to Hbase, which is the native storage system of Hadoop. Let's go. And so what kind of script are we looking forward to? So we firstly need a script which can import data which is the user file to Pig. Then we will be specifying a delimiter dot, and we have already seen that this is a pipe delimited format that is inside Hadoop cluster. So they're using Pig storage. After that, what do we need? We need to store that data, store this data onto table that is created inside Hbase. And after typing that, we might be requiring some Pig scripts like org.apache.pig, some drivers which will help us in assisting to this task. So this is a basic rough overview of what we require. So it's always a good idea to create a logical flow of your future to be code that will help you in framing your mind into the right kind of framework that should be required and the right syntax also. Now let's go ahead and type the query. Let's go ahead and start typing the query. So we all know that the kind of script, how we import data to Pig in the early lectures. So let's do it the same way. So as we all know, we can reference a command by a name, so we can call it this ratings equal to load. Then we specify in the user path, so we can see the user path here, that inside the user root there is a folder created 100k ml100k which is having our files. So just go and type that out. It's gonna be an easy one. So breaking your code into small subcode or breaking your big goal into small goals can always help you in achieving your task a little bit more easier than what it might seem to look in the beginning. So we have went to the user root ml100k and its u.user file, which needs to be imported. We'll just go press enter now. We want to be using pig storage, and then we should be specifying in the data types pig storage. Now and also it's a good idea to always write your codes on your favorite script pad or notepad writer, and then you can go ahead and just copy paste the code instead of writing it all on the command line. Now we have typed in using pig storage. Now what else? Now we need to specify in the data types. So we know what's the command for our data types. You can take a moment to think, pause it, and you can play whenever you have an answer. And the character is as. So we would like to get our ratings from the user file, which is inside ml100k directory, using pig storage pipe delimiter as. So our first, let's see the first ID. First is the ID, that is the user ID, then the age. So these both should be int. So let's specify user ID. Now the name of the data type should be an integer. Now the second one, what's that? That's an age. Age is also an integer. Now what else do we have? So there's gender, there's an occupation, both should be what? Cat array. Now we specify in gender with the data type, that is char array, along with now the occupation. The occupation, that's also a char array. And the good thing about Notepad++ is it also gives you an automatic suggestions for words which you have used earlier, so that saves a bit of typing and also helps you make you seem like you're writing in an actual integrated development environment. And the last one is the zip code. This is the zip code. This is also an integer. So we'll just go ahead and type int, that is integer. Close the parentheses. Use a semicolon. Basics of a pig script. Now what else? Now the real task begins, that we have to store this data onto a table that is created inside Hbase. Alright? So let's go ahead into ratings, store these. Now I would like to store the ratings that are using all of this, and let's give some gap to specify in okay that the loading part is complete. Now the store, let's just copy this comment and store this ratings into where that it's Hbase colon to, that is to refer it, that we are calling Hbase. We would like to situate this table inside Hbase, then the directory is users. After typing users, we now need to import the drivers in Pig, which would be used for importing this onto Hbase. Let's go to Firefox, our favorite web browser. We could be using anyone. Now let's go into Apache Pig website and look for the syntax that's required. Apache Pig, Hbase import, and site is Apache. Let's look for we are looking for something that will help us import data from Hbase, and there we go. This is how we can upload the data. So we have to use the library called org.apache.backend.hadoop.hbase, Hbase storage. This is how we look for the correct syntax. We just type in the kind of syntax that we are looking for, and there's a more than 90% chance that you would find these on the Apache website. This is also known as the documentation for the particular release of the Pig. Now let's continue where we left. We've already stored this into our Hbase users. Now we'll type in using. We know that it's org.pig.backend.hadoop.hbase, and then finally base storage. Now let's open the parentheses, and now it's saying that okay, now you have specified in the drivers, that is the jar library, which should be required. Now what you have to do is that you have to specify in the column family. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that as well. So we all know that these are the tables, these are the columns in our tables. And the name of our column family, which we did create, was user info. This is not that particular, it's terminal. Let's quickly look for it, and there we go. Due to not responding, it already closed the session, but we know that the column family is username. So here we just have to fill in the columns with the column family, that is user info instead of info. Let's go ahead and do that. I've already opened the parentheses, so user info colon age. The first column is that we want is age, then the second one, but wait a second, I think the first column was user ID. The first column is user ID, but we don't really need that because that's just a serial number here, so we can ignore that for now. And let's get back to where we were. side by side to make it a little more easier. Let's just resize the window really quickly. And yeah, the first column is age, ignoring the user ID here. Then user info once again. We'll just copy this to save more time. Then after using age, the other one was gender. We can just look here, occupation and zip. Now again, user info followed by colon, and the other one was occupation, comma, once again. Now the other one is zip. Also there is the comma to be closed and a semicolon at the end. Congratulations, we have already typed the script. Let's move it to another tab, paste this up. Wait a second. Let's copy this whole script. Let's remove the comments to here. Let's import the script. And let's save it as a pig file. And here we're not able to see a pig file, but anyway, let's go ahead and save this in Notepad. Just press Windows key plus R, type in Notepad, or you can just open using the start menu by typing Notepad here. Let's click on save as all files, and after that let's select our directory. I would just save these in ml100k or anywhere you want. Just let's also name these as hbase.pig, that is the pig format, and we'll save these as all files. So to make sure that it's not a txt file or a ppt or rtf, the extension should be .pig. That's the particular extension that's supported by pig for pig scripting language. Let's click on save, and yeah, file is successfully saved as hbase.pig. Now let's go ahead into our PuTTY terminal, but first of all we got to upload this onto our local, it's from our local file system onto HDFS cluster so we can access these. Let's go ahead and minimize these and move to our important thing. Before we upload these files to our HDFS, let's change the name to user, or we can call it users. So users into Hbase, and the table name is users. So it would just kind of make more sense, as this is not rating data, this is a user data. Now let's go ahead and click on save. The file is saved. Now let's go ahead and upload this file onto HDFS cluster. We can do that using Ambari. Let's quickly open Ambari, and this is the path. We can upload these on root, so it's will be easier to access. Look for the path where you have saved the file. And upload these. Here we have successfully uploaded the file. That will help us to do the task. That is a pig scripting file. Let's go ahead and open PuTTY and launch this. Let's log in as root. and just type ls, and we should be able to see the file. Let's see the directory in which we are in. Or we can go ahead and directly import the file using WinSCP. Just type WinSCP and let's open the folder. We know the port is 2222 and username is root, password is welcome321, and there we go. Let's navigate to our path and let's see, where is it? Where is the file? Let's directly click on the file, click copy, go ahead and click on paste. Okay, do not share this dialog box again. And yeah, so we have already uploaded the file. Let's open PuTTY back. Let's type ls, and here we can see that. Congratulations, we have uploaded the file. Now, in order to execute, let's just type hbase. Firstly, to type in to execute pig scripts, we use pig, and then let's type in hbase.pig. Let's go ahead and execute that, and we hope it all goes successful. Oops, we are running into an error. Let's go ahead and quickly analyze the error. So this says on line 2, column 17, there's an unexpected apostrophe. So let's go ahead and find out if we did that mistake. And yeah, we did. So let's replace these by single ones. Let's save these up. Let's copy this again. Quickly. Let's copy the file and paste this once again, and we say yes, we would like to modify, and let's run our job once again. Yeah, it says connecting. So basically what's happening on the back end is it's doing all of these kind of crazy processes that is turning this pig script into a MapReduce code, thousands of lines of code, and then converting that, interpreting that, and then accessing those tables and transferring data. So basically lots of complex stuff is happening, which is kind of non-useful, as it will utilize more time and effort in order to do just a simple task, that is to import a table. So what this does, basically, pig with Hbase, that it reduces the amount of work that we had to do earlier into a very small part, so we can focus more upon the problem rather than to be able to import the data. We more focus upon what is happening in the data. So let's wait for the process to be completed, and we can track this session as well on this part. If we go ahead and execute this part, we can see what's happening, how this job really is getting executed. And here we see that okay, the yarn application says accepted, it was run by root, it's running pigladin, and the file is hbase.pig. So lots of interesting information here. We can see the application master. Yeah, that's the application master. It's telling us the resources, and let's go to the node and see that's the total volume of container, the pre-memory allocated for the container, the node version, and the headed version. So yeah, the job is still getting processing, still in process. So let's go ahead and so we can still explore a little bit more. Let's click on the attempt ID and see what all information does it provides us. And we can see two container IDs that are on two different nodes. Let's open these container IDs, and it says failed to read the containers as the job is still in process, so we cannot read the containers. We might be able to see the logs. Let's go ahead and try to see the logs, and also let's keep seeing. And yeah, it says successfully stored, successfully read 943 databases and stored. So congratulations, our job is successfully executed as per the commands given by the HDFS. Let's go and find that out. And here we are able to see the jobs and the libraries that it was doing in the backend while we were exploring the workflow and how is it all getting processed. So these are the different libraries. Tez was being called. There were Antler runtime, metrics, Pig obviously, Zookeeper, Hbase also came into picture with Hbase servers, Nady sessions to finalize, then local resources being used in automation. So lots of stuff happening on the backend while we were busy in exploring a little bit more functionalities, what we can do. So let's go ahead and actually see what all did we import. So Hbase shell. Let's wait for this to open up and also see the first logs, giving lots of information in case you're in some failures or some job is getting failed to process. Here is where you come and actually see the problems that you're getting, and this will help you to solve the problem very easily. So we are successfully into our Hbase shell. Let's do list, and here we can see users. So let's scan them. No, scan users. And there we go. Congratulations. This is the data we have imported over here. Finally, after so much effort, on taking a closer look upon the data, we can see lots of interesting stuff. We can see the timestamp also got appended automatically, and we can see the user 935 is 24 years old. So Hbase is already appended timestamp by itself, and in reality we didn't write a single line of code to deal with timestamp or anything. So this is inbuilt versioning of Hbase that is storing the same file, that is the same data about the same user on multiple nodes, and using the timestamp and some other techniques we are able to fetch the value. And zip is here, the age is here, 48. We can see it's a male. We can see the occupation as well. Occupation is he's an educator. So lots of interesting stuff and interesting activities. Now that we know our job is done, we can go ahead back into Ambari and let's When we are done, we can go ahead and stop the cluster. So this will help us manage the resources on our cluster in a better way when we are running an actual cluster and not running this just on a single node. That's the helpfulness of MRE, that it lets you manage all of your cluster at just one place. I hope you guys understood the lecture, and see you in the next one. Thank you and happy learning.